Planned to go live on August the 4th, 2021, the very first patch/update is here for Pokemon Unite. Whilst most Pokemon have gained buffs and nerfs, this video will go through each balance changes to the roster. For those in Rush, these are the buffed Pokemons, and these are the nerfed Pokemons. The following timestamp is provided for easier navigation for individual Pokemon of your interest. This first update brings forth the much needed balance changes to the game. Charizard finally sees light with his flamethrower, receiving a reduction in cooldown and increased damage output. Along with his Fire Punch and Fire Blast getting an increased damage, with these buffs we strongly believe he'll be a more competent dealer. In comparison to Charizard, TalonFlame was an equally disappointing Pokemon. However, with an increased damage in all his core movesets makes TalonFlame position himself as a viable jungler. This includes increased damage in Acrobatics, Aerial Ace, Aerial Ace Plus, and Fly. Surprisingly, Venusuar finds his way into the buff list with both damage and effects strengthened for his Sludge Bomb. Move upgrade on Petal Dance and Solar Beam's cooldown being reduced, along with his ultimate move getting an increased damage output, we expect him to be fully meta, positioning himself to an A tier. Jigglytuff gets a big buff, having her defense, special defense, and health status being increased, making her even more tankier. Combined with her damage increase for Double Slap and effect strengthened for Sing, we expect to see her take a more prominent role in the future meta. Finally, Absol sees a slight buff with increased damage in both Night Slash and Sucker Punch, allowing for a much needed early gank plays. These are all the Pokemons projected to gain positive changes. Now comes the sour part of the patch, the nerfs. Right off the bat, Eldgross receives a critical blow in healing. The move Cotton Guard gains an increased cooldown and its health restoration decreased, whereas Cotton Spore sees a reduction in its cooldown, increased effects on opposing Pokemon, and further increase in defense and special defense status. However, its ultimate move, Cotton Cloud Crash, receives a nerf on health restoration. Cinderace, in heavy comparison to Charizard, is met with a major decrease in his overall attack. His basic attack stat is decreased along with his damage and Blaze Kick. His Feint also gets a downgrade whilst his Pyro Ball gets a slight buff in damage. Gengar. Everyone's favorite Gengar is met with an interesting change than nerfs. Whilst his Shadow Ball is further buffed with an increased damage output and Dream Eater is getting a move upgrade, his controversial move Hex is expected to get a downgrade rework, a much interesting change rather than a stat decrease. The thing has his Wild Charge damage increased along with reduced cooldown, and his ultimate Plasma Gale gets a nerf in damage. The bird is met with an increased damage in his dive and decreased damage in Whirlpool, whilst Machamp gets an increased damage in close combat and decreased damage in cross jump. This covers all the planned balance changes. Before we show you our new projected tier list, we would like to beg you to subscribe to our channel for everything Pokemon Unite. We plan to upload an even more in-depth patch review after its release. After all the patch changes, this is our projected tier list at the moment. But once the patch is live on the 4th of August tomorrow, we plan to upload a more detailed analysis. So consider subscribing so you don't miss it.